I don't understand what the fuck's going on there. I am not a part of the Israeli occupying force, nor have I ever been a part of any sort of military structure, but I think I can offer decent analysis on all of the war crimes that the Israeli government is engaging in. I am not a chicken, but I know how to make a fucking scrambled egg. This is not a decent counter argument, chatter. This is yet another major issue that I have with debate lords, where they're just like bad. They're bad at arguing, but they think they're good at arguing because they think that they can LARP like the person that they're watching. It's very strange. That is the dumbest fucking comment you can make. You're not talking to me, you're talking to him, right? It is a crazy thing to say that, like, well, you don't work in the insurance industry, so you have no idea how this stuff works. You could turn around and tell me what is wrong about my analysis, but just simply hitting it with this blanket statement might make you feel like you have made an intelligent point of contention, but it's not. It's very stupid. It is directly at odds with what I do as a political commentator. Insurance is just a collateralization of risk. Profit should not be a part of it at all. It kind of seems like what you're telling me is we should socialize it, like a singular pool. Also, the irony here is this conversation. Like, the irony here is you think I have never talked to someone who works in the insurance industry when perhaps one of the people that DM me the most frequently is Warren Gunnels. Like, literally nonstop. Warren Gunnels is the Majority Staff Director for Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee Chairman for Senator Bernie Sanders. Warren Gunnels, in his past at least, was an insurance executive. Like, literally. Perhaps the person who DMs me the most frequently. You shouldn't speak on matters regarding trust busting because you're not the chair of the FTC. Yeah. I don't know why this person has not responded. So many people. What is this? I found this channel yesterday, dude. People are insane. Hasan, hey, what? Bro, this has 13 subscribers. Why are you fucking showing me this shit? Like, Jesus Christ. Yes, dude, I have fucking rabid and entirely psychotic fucking hate watchers. I know. Some of them you can hear in the broadcast right now. They come in and they chime in and they chirp. What is this? Balls in your court, HASANABI. I'm so down. Oh, hell yeah. I'm down as fuck. This misinformation machine. Anyway, let's continue with this take.
Like, oh, today, guys, lottery day. If the person that you're approving or denying care for, if their name starts with the letter D, we deny today because D for denial, fuck them, making more money today. Or, guys, it's December. You want your Christmas bonuses? Highest denial server or highest denial worker gets a bonus, $40,000 on your paycheck. Like, this doesn't happen. The parts of these systems and the employees that work on
Dude, they literally use the AI. They use the AI with a 90% failure rate specifically to increase the amount of denials that they were engaging in. And they don't have to do it directly. Yes, it is an indirect form of violence. It's just such a weird thing to shadow box against, because I don't think most people are making this argument. You're either voluntarily misunderstanding the argument that people are making, or you are deliberately making up a different argument that you think is at least weak enough. It's not one that, like, any real person believes. And it also does not change the reality on the side of the victims. It's a very strange way to operate. But I guess it's ironic because Destiny and his weirdo fans will always say Hasan is too scared of debate. Okay? He's too scared of debate. He's too afraid, even though I debate plenty. And then they'll follow up and say, no, he only talks to like dumbasses in his chat, which is ironic because he's calling his own fan base dumbasses, because most of those people that fucking chirp at me are usually coming from his fan base. Having said that, at least I'm like responding to a real person in my fucking chat. He's just making this concept up, or rather responding to, like, again, someone that he saw on Twitter, like a point that they made that he didn't fully understand. The real purpose here, in my opinion, the real purpose here is to try to address what the actual pressure point is. Okay? It also is pretty crazy. Yeah, the only reason they have to use AI is because they cannot legally instruct humans to deny at the rate they wish to, so they can blame the over-eager AI denials as kinks in the process. Yes, it's plausible deniability. That's all this is. And it's ironic because the other institution that he defends vociferously, Israel, also utilizes a similar structure in the form of lavender AI targeting systems, according to Israeli investigative reporters over at Local Call and 972 magazine. The Lavender AI targeting system operates in an identical capacity. Most of the AI that is utilized in this day and age is not to actually be correct. It's actually utilized in instances where you can be incorrect. And it's good to be incorrect. Lavender AI targeting systems that create new targets at a rate that is far higher than normal human processing is done deliberately. It's done deliberately because Israel does not care about killing random civilians. This way, they also get an additional way to say, look, we didn't choose to do this. I guess we got it a little wrong. Oopsie.
Are so disconnected from the actual CEOs themselves. The idea that there's like some guy just like, oh, deny, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just not how these jobs work.
Who's saying that? I mean, I'm sure there's people that don't fully grasp it, but many people are using the CEO as a placeholder for the awfulness that they've experienced from the insurance industry. And I think the reality of the matter is, yes, the CEO is signing off on all of the fucking awful shit that the company is doing. That's why they get paid $10 million a year. This CEO did at least. I wonder what compels someone like Destiny to be so aggressively a status quo defender. I genuinely don't understand it. Like, there was a point in time when he wasn't rich. You know what I mean? It's not like he's super far removed from being fucking broke. He has no values or morals or ethics. He goes with a win. Yeah, no. Aspiration to be the adult in the room and unwavering belief in institutions/hierarchies. I know, but like, this isn't an adult-like attitude to have. This is actually an idealistic attitude to have. I'll explain. The American healthcare structure, the American for-profit healthcare structure is like fundamentally busted, okay? It's the most expensive and it has some of the shittiest outcomes. It is not a system that needs to exist at all, but even in comparable countries where there are some at least like gap covering private healthcare providers, they're still heavily regulated. They're far cheaper overall. It's a shitty mediator that does not need to exist, especially in the United States of America. It would be far cheaper to the American public if we had abolished it in its entirety. And if you work in the private healthcare system and you're like, well, Hasan, I'm going to lose my job. First of all, that's not even the case. Unless you are quite literally a CEO, you are most likely not in a replaceable position. You are ironically doing something that the government is still going to have to do, depending on whichever way we change the healthcare structure to be more ethical, or rather, I'll use a term that people care about, efficient. CEOs are replaceable too. Yes, they are. Trust me, I know. I'm just saying that like CEOs in that situation would most likely not exist, whereas the paper pushers still would. Someone still needs to process claims. Someone still needs to file paperwork. So your job, regardless of the private or public structure, would most likely still exist, or at least some form of your job would still exist. The CEO's job, on the other hand, would not. Like, as someone who has direct personal connections to someone who's an exec in the industry, he's so objectively wrong, it's insane. Yeah, I know. It's just, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand why this is something that he chose to argue on. He's so pressed on defending the insurance system in the U.S. What does he gain out of this from defending it so hard when the majority of people in the U.S. hate the insurance system? He has nothing to gain from defending it at all. I have no clue. My guess is he likes being a contrarian. He also has some pretty terrible takes on Palestine lately. Probably. He and his community just like the debate. If Hasan was making this exact point, you can bet his fans will be on the other side. I like that random people know that, like, he just takes the contrarian position to whatever the fuck my opinion is. Like, I don't think that's the case. I don't fully understand what the ambitions are here, what the motivations are here. I don't think I'll ever understand it. It is a very strange way to operate. He's violently afraid of being wrong, so he's trying to stay safe. That's really interesting. If he was violently afraid of being wrong, he should probably agree with me a lot more, because lo and behold, you might not agree with this, but I feel like I'm vindicated quite frequently. It takes time, but it always happens at the end. But yeah, he is just wrong in general. It's just how you make money. This is how private healthcare works. They make money by doing everything in their physical power to make sure you don't get the proper coverage. Anyway, I've seen his fan claim he earned millions a month on Twitch only. That she made me laugh. Yeah, they also claimed that my dad is a billionaire because they saw some AI articles. That, like I said, being pro-Israel after October 7, once again, you're just going to always have to hold that permanent L. You might, over time, try to restructure your opinion, But you're holding that permanent fucking L. And that's not the only, that's not the only L that Destiny has held. I mean, he's held other things too. Potentially the hand of a Nazi and maybe some other stuff from a neo-Nazi, but I don't know. Something that I always try to explain. You mean they made AI articles? Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, it's so stupid. You want to know why it's stupid? Because if my dad was a fucking billionaire, like those AI articles suggest he is, he would literally be on every fucking list. He'd be the second, third, fourth wealthiest person in the fucking country, in Turkey. Okay? He would be on lists. And it's really interesting that no one even exercises a little bit of critical thinking because they're so invested. Here's the meta-analysis. Here's the meta-conversation, okay? When you get very passionate, and we do this in this stream as well, I urge you sometimes, when something seems so perfect, when something sounds so good, my immediate reaction to it is like, I'm going to exercise caution. Certain things are too good to be true. Socialist with a billionaire father. Sounds like something that might be too good to be true. Now, I'm my own person. So regardless of my father's opinions, beliefs, or financial status, that still wouldn't really matter in this conversation, but at least it would matter for the memes, right? And what these people should do is maybe engage in a little bit of critical thinking, but they can't because they're so excited. They're so excited and so invested, right? That they don't realize that this causes many people to lose sight of that muscle that you normally are supposed to exercise, the critical thinking muscle. That's the problem, okay? So these people who are very invested, in like finding the truth, and the best possible way to find the truth is through spirited debate, like they end up shutting off certain parts of their minds that under normal circumstances would cause them to be a little bit more critical with certain narratives that sound too good to be true. Okay? That's it. This is something that I talked to with Ta-Nehisi Coates about yesterday. With regards, the topic was in regards to Israel, but like, there's only so much that you can be wrong on until you just are wrong all the time and you are no longer interested in the truth whatsoever, and you find yourself seeking out conspiracies further and further. Okay? You become like a QAnon supporter, basically. Or after the fourth time, you're like, okay, instead of spiraling out of control and seeping further and further into madness, I should exercise a little bit of caution and really reconsider some of my first principles, some of my immediate lapses of judgment. That is the problem. And I think a lot of the debate space in general is so hyper focused on being right and or at least like appearing right and defeating and humiliating your interlocutors in the marketplace of ideas that you just have no interest in finding out the truth at all. And slowly but surely, you go further and further into trafficking in falsehoods. Because as long as your in-group is repeating those falsehoods, then it might as well be correct. After all, everyone around me thinks it's correct, you know? Kind of how very postmodern of you, kind of like how you said you would end up eventually right in the end. I thought facts didn't matter as much as stories. Yes. I'm talking about the dangers of this. Do you just hear me say, unfortunately, narrative trumps the truth? Unfortunately, narrative is more important than the facts. And you think, oh, he believes this? Instead of hearing the things that come after that, which is, this is me telling you to exercise caution. Sometimes I think people are too stupid to have a conversation with. This person, I believe, is one of those people. People go into, it's really, really interesting that people go into the debate space because they want to repeat what they think are intellectually sound arguments. Everyone wants to be smart. People in this community do it. I do it as well, okay? Everyone wants to be smart. Everyone knows that maybe they're not that smart, but at least they want to appear smart. Okay. Now I recognize I'm a dumbass and I repeat it. I repeat that fact all the time. People in this community do it. People in Destiny's community do it. Everyone does it. People that read New York Times articles do it as well. Everybody does it. But the problem is when people are so predisposed with appearing smart and repeating a person's takes that has consistently been wrong, they don't realize that, you know, they're not coming across as intelligent at all. Maybe rhetorically you can bully your interlocutor in that moment, okay? But you're still wrong. You're just confidently and loudly and proudly wrong. That's it. The difference is I think I'm at least smart enough to understand that I don't know everything.
And shouting those fighting words that officials now fear could be considered a call to action. An outburst from Luigi Mangione, shackled and handcuffed as he was dragged into court.
As a completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people. It's time to fear.
Sheriff's deputies wrestling him inside. He refused to waive extradition to New York, where he's charged with murdering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
When I entered my appearance, and for the record, he's pleading not guilty to this. And I've seen zero evidence at this point.
The judge denied bail. Mangione kept quiet as he left court, head down. He's a threat to no one, but this morning the NYPD is alarmed by these posters outside the New York Stock Exchange.
Chatter in here offline got mad at me for saying all you're doing is picking and sucking a chicken out of your teeth, and then talked about you having an abscess in your nerves or something, and said out of nowhere how I don't think ticks are valid. Wait, what? An abscess in my nerve? What?
Exchange and social media posts suggesting Mangione is a martyr.
We do a lot of work in the online space. As part of that,
yeah, they're blurring the face of the CEOs. I don't know why.
We'll surge resources, protective resources around the city wherever we need to when we're anticipating and dealing with a big uptick in threats.
In a confidential assessment obtained by ABC News, the NYPD says Mangione considered Thompson's murder a symbolic takedown of United Healthcare over perceived corruption, adding the suspect likely views himself as a hero of sorts who has finally decided to act upon such injustices. A copy of the suspect's alleged writings said United Healthcare was among corporations that have simply gotten too powerful, and these parasites simply had it coming. Mangione also referenced a spiral notebook that sources tell ABC News contained writings about the Unabomber, but how Mangione thought explosives could kill innocent people. The writings were found, police say, when Mangione was arrested at this McDonald's, seen eating a hash brown moments before.
Why is there a photo like this available? Like, is this a camera? Is this CCTV? I assume it has to be, right? Like, how did they snap this pic? Oh, it's a body cam? Wait, so cops walked up while he was in the middle of eating his hash brown? That's crazy. The motherfucker was still eating a hash brown while the cops walked up?
My one friend made the comment. He thought it was, he goes,
I feel like it's probably CCTV though.
don't that look like the shooter from New York?
An employee called police.
The worker that took his order, she said his eyes and his eyebrows. She just thought it was him.
Police say the gun Mangione had looks very similar to the gun used in the murder, capable of firing 9mm rounds and made at least in part with a 3D printer. Earlier, the suspect tried checking into this Altoona motel, but no room was available.
There was somebody that checked in, and the officer goes, did he have a mask on? Did he ever take a mask off as he comes back? No, he never did take the mask off. He says, I'll be down there in 5 minutes to talk to you. We pulled it up on surveillance and sure as stuff, they go, yeah, that's him.
Mangione had been out of touch with his family for months. In November, sources tell ABC News his mother filed a missing persons report in San Francisco. The sources say investigators in Pennsylvania have started interviewing his relatives, perhaps asking about internet posts in which Mangione wrote about back pain, brain fog, and sciatica. Mangione at one point writing, "It's absolutely brutal to have such a life-halting issue." His former roommate in Hawaii said Mangione struggled with a back injury.
Unfortunately, he did let me know that the severity of his back issue was such that it was very difficult to have physical relationships with women, that it made things painful.
Mangione's case has become a cause, with admirers posting videos like this on Instagram. His X page gaining 300,000 new followers.
The person that I knew 8 years ago and the person that he allegedly has become today could not be more different.
A former classmate left stunned.
I've still been in a little state of disbelief that this kid that I knew from high school 8 years ago is now the most high-profile killer, allegedly, in the country. I would never have had anything bad to say about him.
Since some of Mangione's
By the way,
internet
I'm gonna
posts
do this.
reference dealing with a debilitating
I'm gonna do the Terry Yummy collab, chat. I'm gonna do it. That'll be fun. There'll be some fun content. Did this person respond to my take? He's right. Most fucking insurance companies work to reduce their denial rate. Damn. Well, the United one didn't work that hard, it seems, considering that their denial rate was, what, 32%, and was the highest one out of all of them. So why is it that they have a denial rate to begin with then? Like, why would they? What motivates an insurance company to reduce their denial rate? Market competition? Is that what you're going to say? Eagles fan and a gamer. I pray you've bitten off too much this time. Yeah. Hasan, you don't understand. The multi-billion-dollar company that works with $500 billion in revenue, that generates $500 billion in revenue, that has a 6% profit margin, which amounts to around $33 billion. That company actually doesn't want to make that. It's just forced to make that $33 billion in pure profit. You don't understand. United Health CEO faces backlash after leaked video defense stopping unnecessary care. Yeah, unnecessary care. Dude, people are using too much healthcare in this country. Okay? Too much. Too much of everything is bad, including too much of anything is bad, you know, including too much healthcare. You don't understand. Like chemotherapy. United CEO Andrew Whitty just sent a memo to staff, leaked to me, hailing late CEO as one of the good guys who had a profoundly positive impact on the lives of so many people. Whitty adds, he was certainly one of the smartest guys. I think he was one of the best guys. Staff are frustrated with how tone deaf the response has been. Yeah, too much healthcare is irresponsible. Too much profits, on the other hand, not irresponsible. Yeah, also, under Brian Thompson's reign, the denial rate went up. I don't know if these are the correct numbers, but I'm pretty sure they went up. So, unforeseen healthcare bills and coverage denials by health insurance in the United States by the Commonwealth Fund show that some doctors are incentivized to deny care using a click and close policy, which promotes bonuses based on the quantity of cases reviewed and hence incentivizes speedy reviews. I mean, the automated AI process in this should tell you everything you need to know. Please, I work in the field. Look at my messages. There are built-in rejections that they simply hope revenue teams don't catch and then resend. They usually get paid the second time around, in my experience. I work in government healthcare, and we've seen firsthand how claims would be denied, even when there was nothing wrong with them. We'd send them back, and suddenly they'd be fixed. The system relies on the assumption that most companies won't double check, so they just pass the cost on to the patient. They get away with it by claiming they reevaluated the claim. In reality, they're incentivized to deny claims. Yeah. I mean, so many aspects of this. So many aspects of this is just like, is willingly making this process as complicated as possible and creating unnecessary hurdles that must not exist with the hopes that people don't actually turn around and fix it. And then they're left with the cost. They're left footing the bill. And for the record, you can still turn a profit without these fucking silly moves, you know? That's the worst part about this process, is that, like, yes, profit margins do have a tendency to, or profit rates do have a tendency to decline. But having said that, you could still manage like some level of profit even under a capitalist structure. The issue is it's never enough. You have to consistently up the ante. You have to consistently churn out more and more profit. And that's precisely why there are so many, like millions of different ways in which these companies make everything shittier. The problem is twofold. On the victim side, on the recipient side, when it's more difficult, you end up sometimes just refusing to take the care on at all, knowing full well that you will get denied, and then you fucking die. You just decide to take the L. Some people decide to kill themselves. Others take the coverage and then are saddled with lifelong medical debt when the denial comes in. There are a million different stories like this. This is precisely the reason why there is so much anger towards both the systems and also the CEOs. Because the second part of the story is when you add these unnecessary hurdles that are specifically designed to improve profit margins for your shareholders, you get rewarded for it as the CEO. So the notion that the CEO is actually not responsible for this is idiotic, because they're getting paid for it. They're directly being paid for it. They're being paid to hire the exact right guys that find new and creative ways of making this process more costly to the consumer. And what's really interesting about it is that if you yourself are not a healthcare CEO or a healthcare executive or someone who has like a tremendous amount of stocks, you know? If you're like a board of trustees guy for a fucking big healthcare industry company, why the fuck? Like, you're infinitely more likely to be fucked over by the healthcare system. Why would you ever defend this? It makes no sense. As a pharmacist who worked in retail, hospital, government, trade org, and now pharma industry, I can guarantee you it doesn't even matter the frequency of denials. It's even more critical and excruciatingly frustrating what they deny. Formularies are the lists of what gets covered and for how much. Formulary reform would be a temporary solution. Universal healthcare would be ideal. And for the record, this process is why healthcare is so costly in this country, because there's an unnecessary middleman who is not interested in lowering the cost at all, but actually carrying over whatever it can back to the consumer. As mediators, they do not argue against the pharmaceutical corporations. Sometimes they own the pharmaceutical corporations. So then they're doubling on the profits on the pharmaceutical side as well. Every aspect of for-profit healthcare is completely busted in this country. And the proof is in the data. That's precisely why the likes of Ben Shapiro and many other charlatans that try to defend this unjustifiable, parasitic system of for-profit care can only point to like random cherry-pick stats like America's #1 in brain cancer treatments. Okay, great. Look at our life expectancy, which of course is there's a multitude of different factors that factor into this this number being so low in comparison to other OECD nations. But it's ridiculous that these people that are supposed to be facts-based, these people that are supposed to not care about the feelings, these people that are supposed to be logical thinkers, intellectual giants like Ben Shapiro or even Destiny, refuse to understand the broader picture. Now, with Ben Shapiro, I understand why he refused to reckon with the broader picture. His job requires him not to. He has to defend the structures. He has to defend capitalism. But for a contrarian weirdo like Destiny, it is always shocking when he just chooses some of these battles. But I guess he does it because he wants to be a perma-contrarian. And also on top of that, he likes taking like hard to defend positions and seeing if he can defend these hard-to-defend positions. Sorry. To be clear, insurance companies do not own pharmaceutical manufacturers. Those entities are directly oppositional, but insurance companies do own pharmacies. Sorry. Pharmacy benefit managers and other healthcare services, thus creating a monopoly. Someone is saying that AR loyals got deleted. I will admit, that is a pretty fucking solid first step in the right direction for Aiden Ross. If he truly deleted his comms, his Twitter comm, that is one, a major W for everyone in this space, okay? For those of you who don't know, AR Loyals is Aiden Ross's Twitter community. It is infested with the most freak-like Nazis out there. It was. He already did that a year ago. They reformed very quickly somewhere else. They're like chemo-resistant cancer. They are very similar to they're very similar to two other content creators. One who still operates and weaponizes his community, Diddy G. The other who, I don't even know what has happened, but it's like super old school, Ice Poseidon. Yeah, it was one of the largest. Aiden Ross, at least the largest streamer community on X for the second time this year. Fans are speculating this is a major move to get Aiden unbanned on Twitch. Yeah, I think he wants to get unbanned on Twitch because he has nowhere else to go because he voluntarily left Kick. I don't know why. I don't know if he's actually mentioned why, but I mean, this is a good thing in general. He said Diddy G. Yeah, I'm talking about DGG, but I call him Diddy, like for P Diddy. But yeah, I said that Aiden Ross, the first step would be for him to purge his community if he wants to reform. He did not voluntarily leave Kick. Aiden rigged bets on 2K2 on stake. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. I don't want to know. I like that it still has the stake logo, by the way. That's so funny. What's good? What's good? Here, the bag is over here. But some of the fixings are on the kitchen island. No, we're going on our own. And I assume Will's not coming. Yeah. We also call him Diddy G because he sexts underage girls, but yes. So bad to call him Diddy G. No, I mean, I don't know if he sexts underage girls, but he does sext teenagers. Not Aiden Ross. I'm talking about Destiny. He's done other inappropriate things with 8-year-olds and whatnot online, but new Aiden tweet. What is the Aiden tweet? I deleted my X community. I did this to try to change, adapt, and mature as one. Far more growth to do here, but we are heading in the right direction. Those who understand the change and healthy reasoning behind this, I appreciate it. I promise you I will focus on change. We'll see. I doubt it, but we'll see. Dude, do you think Aiden has the opportunity to reform? Everybody has the opportunity to reform. It's just a matter of whether it's genuine and well thought out. It's important to recognize like what people are doing. He leaned full tilt into the most like insane right-wing shit. Got any proofs on your claims? Are you repeating Nazi tweets again? What claims? Which claims are you talking about?